What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about a new controversy with Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and it's something that's exploded a little bit on X or Twitter. Now, this information already came out a while ago when it comes to collision in multiplayer for Super Mario Bros. Wonder, but now it's starting to get more talk as the game is leaked and clearly people are playing the game and they don't like it, or they like it, or they're on one way or another way. And I wanted to talk to you guys about this because this controversy is somewhat fascinating to me as someone who's played multiplayer Mario before and found it kind of annoying when it comes to multiplayer Mario trying to get through, trying to do different things. But there is a whole other side to it where people say, wait a minute, no, the collision is what makes the game. Taking another person and throwing them into a pit or using them to get like an extra coin or something like that, having that makes the multiplayer experience more fun or better or more interesting or whatever the case is. But as someone who's played Super Mario Bros. Wonder and has played all of those 2D Mario games for the most part with the collision, after playing it, I'm looking at it like this. Wait a minute. Why does this game need collision and all that stuff if it has the badges and it has all these different power-ups that actually allow you to do crazy things and allow you to jump higher and do different things that you weren't able to do beforehand? To me, it seems unnecessary, and it seems like it would be way too hectic and too much stuff going on with wonder effects and with all the different power-ups. And if you can just start bumping into each other and doing different things, I think it would create way too much havoc and chaos and make for an experience that isn't that great in multiplayer. Nintendo apparently had it in and then took it out, so I think that they took it out for a reason. Now, the thing about in terms of collision, it's not about whether it being there or not, it's about the toggle or option, and that's kind of the controversy people are talking about back and forth. Now, I'm looking at it from a game design standpoint. If you design your game to not have the ability to be able to have collision and bump people up and all that, then the game will not work if you didn't design it that way. If you put other elements for you to be able to get coins, for you to be able to get to certain areas, and you also have those abilities to do what you did before, it would make the game ridiculously easy or essentially just break the game in certain parts. So you have to kind of make your game and plan it for those type of things. Some people feel that no, you can just have a toggle and the game will work just fine regardless. And I'm not on that train of thought when it comes down to it. I also was thinking, has there been any other games that have allowed there to be collision detection on a 2D platformer and then not have it? And I couldn't find an answer when I posed that question to people on X. So I'm definitely going to ask you guys, comment section below, let me know what you think. Is there any other platformers that do that? But I wanted to talk about this a little bit more because I find it fascinating. Once again, I did play the game quite a bit at Nintendo Live. I do not have the game already. I don't have a review code or anything like that, so I haven't played it yet in terms of further in. But as I've seen more footage of the game and seen how multiplayer works with the Wonder Seeds and with everything and with the badges as well, I just think that it's unnecessary and there's really no need for it, and it caused way more headaches than it did before in previous Mario games. Previous Mario games, in terms of different things with the levels, it was far more dry and basic. There wasn't as much going on. The levels were far more static. You had your enemies and you had certain things that happened, but it wasn't quite like Super Mario Bros. Wonder where you completely changed the dynamics of the level and how you do things, along with the badge system, which is default for the most part with every single character. I mean, I think you might be able to turn it off, and maybe that could have done something, but the way that they've designed the levels, at least in my opinion, make it to where if you were able to help and be able to do different things and have that detection with all that's going on screen, I think it would create far more problems than it would help or that it would make a great game. But that's just my opinion on it. I definitely want to hear what you guys think because there's lots of people who feel very differently about that. They feel that the game should have it and it's been a core aspect of it. And I think that for messing around with your friends and throwing them in pits and stuff like that, that could make an experience that's fun. And I completely get that. But I think that it's time to move away from New Super Mario Bros. Like, it's time to move away from that thought process and what they did there. And if you have wonder elements and if you have different things, there's a new way to team up with your teammates in order to get certain things or in order to go to certain places. I also think if you look at the multiplayer and everything that they're doing so far, it makes sense, like with some of the ghost data and things like that when you're playing online. So once again, it is a controversial one side or another. I've seen people people on both say, you know what? No, like this is a great thing. I hated it in the previous Mario games. I wasn't able to focus or get anything. Then I've seen a bunch of people say, no, it is something that is needed. I think at the end of the day, if you look at it, most people are probably going to play this game by themselves at first and then mess around with friends or online. So I think it'll work regardless. I think that you're going to have fun regardless whether you're playing online with your friends or playing local multiplayer or playing by yourself. I think it really sets itself up, but it's interesting nonetheless. I just wanted to know if there was any other games that you can turn on and off collision in a 2D platformer. I don't think there is, because once again, that plays into the game design, and I think that you can break things like with the badges and all the different stuff you can do there with the high jumps and the kind of like the cape and the grappling hook and all this different stuff that you can do. If you can just bump people up and do all these different things, throwing people and all that, I think it would just make it to where the levels don't quite work the same way, or it'd just be insanely easy, like break the game. Or essentially it'd be one of those things where they'd have to redesign certain parts when it comes down to it. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section when it comes down to this whole thing. I think it's interesting nonetheless. But let's talk about something else here, guys. We've got a brand new Persona 5 Tactica, the third trailer. I'm looking forward to this game quite a bit, and November 17th has turned into a little bit of a video gaming D-Day for me that I am not looking forward to. Persona 5 Tactica comes out November 17th. Super Mario RPG comes out November 17th. Naruto to Boruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Connections comes out November 17th, which we'll talk about in just a bit. So it's pretty crazy, but let's go over this trailer here, because Persona 5 Tactica is looking like a really bite-sized, cool Persona Cross Fire Emblem style RPG. So Persona 5 Tactica is once again due out for the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC via Steam on November 17th. It will also be on Xbox Game Pass, and this is probably a great game for Xbox Game Pass to test out to see if you like this type of game and what they're doing with everything. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it quite a bit. I've talked about Persona 5 Tactica many times on this channel. I've discussed the different trailers that they have going up, and I like what they're doing here for a nice little spin-off. Even with the chibi-ized art style, I still think that there's going to be a great little tactics game kind of built into here, and maybe it'll take the place of a Metal Slug Tactics, right? Where's that game been? So I think this will kind of help out. You know, the music is going to be incredible. You know that the story's probably going to be pretty good. The writing is going to be good. The voice acting is going to be good. So with all of that, combined with the different things that we've already seen in these trailers, like this one right here showing off some new characters and stuff, I think that it's going to be a solid strategy RPG spin-off from the Persona 5 brand. Yes, they are milking this thing, and it's almost to powdered milk at this point when it comes to Persona 5. We're going on what? We're going on how many years now? Almost a decade of Persona 5 and Persona 5 content coming out. But at the same time, that doesn't mean the game isn't going to be solid based off of what I'm seeing here. So let me know what you guys think about Persona 5 Tactica and this brand new trailer here. And also, there is the DLC as well. It includes a teaser for the Day 1 DLC Repaint Your Heart Challenge Pack. So that's good. You're going to have some extra challenges built into there. I think that when it comes to strategy RPGs, challenge is always part of it. Some of the most interesting and challenging games ever made are strategy RPGs. Games like Fire Emblem, for example. There's also other titles that have came up before in the past, even from Atlas. When it comes to some of their stuff, Operation Darkness, for example, is a really challenging strategy RPG from them. So I think they're kind of going back and kind of taking what they've known before from previous games and taking what they've seen with Fire Emblem and other strategy RPGs and putting their own spin on it with Persona. So definitely not bad at all. And let's go to move on to the next topic here, guys. We've got a brand new Naruto Cross Boruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Connections anime opening song trailer. And here's what they're trying to do with this, guys, because I've been a vocal critic of the Ultimate Ninja Storm series. I've been very vocal in terms of them not evolving it in how many years. It's been decade plus that they've been doing this since they rebranded it a 3D arena fighter with the Storm series originally on the PlayStation 3 back in the late 2000s or so. They've essentially held that same engine, that same thing for like the last 10 plus years, and they really haven't evolved the gameplay much since then. The graphics have gotten shiny and prettier. The theatrics with the gameplay are still there, but they're still doing the same quick time events and stuff like that, and it makes sense for them. The Ultimate Ninja Storm series has sold more than 13 million units overall since they originally came out there, not including the original Naruto Mate series that this series was derived from. So it is what it is there, Bandai Namco. I get it when it comes to the anime games. However, Cyber Connect 2, Bandai Namco, this nostalgia anime song and item pack is pretty cool. You've got Bluebird, you've got Fighting Dreamers, but that's called Go by Flow. You've also got more as well. Haruka Kanata, you have Silhouette, Kaze. That's one of my big pet peeves with this series. The compositions from the composers in the Ultimate Ninja Storm series is very similar and sounds like the show, but it's not quite that. And I wondered for years why they just can't get some of the music from the show. Well, maybe because they don't want to pay licensing, but it seems like they're charging us for it here because it's going to be some type of DLC pack or included in a bonus, so they're still going to charge us for it. But at the same time, I mean, at least they have the option there for people who want that music. For me personally, like the Bluebird, that's like one of my favorite songs from the original, I think it's Shippuden, yes, from Shippuden, so I like that. And the Fighting Dreamers is really cool too, so I gotta give them that. At least they got that right. There's going to be over 130 playable characters in this game, 10 brand new ninjas as well. You also have some exclusive special story mode featuring a brand new, never before seen told tale, and for the first time ever, you can relive the story of Naruto and Sasuke from the very beginning. So essentially, this is a really high-end remaster that adds in a bunch of extra stuff in addition to an extra story. It's not quite a brand new game, but what they've done is that they've taken all the different elements from the previous first, second, third, fourth game and everything in the expansions, kind of put it all together and then remixed it, added in extra scenes, added in extra elements, all of that stuff to just make like the biggest Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm game of all time by a good amount. This game is going to be huge. It's also launching on every single platform for the first time in the history of the Ultimate Ninja Storm series. It's going to be on everything in terms of current. It's on Xbox, it's on PlayStation, it's on Nintendo, it's on PC, and it's also running at 60 frames per second. At least I know for sure on Xbox and PlayStation. We'll have to wait and see for the Nintendo Switch version. But yeah, it's a massive amount of game here. There's probably going to be no balancing, guys, when it comes down to this. Like, online is going to be roughshod of just unbalanced nonsense. But for fans of the series, this is something that you can play. But goodness gracious, it comes out on Super Mario RPG and Persona 5 Tactica Day. I'm not even sure what I'm going to play first. Actually, I think I know what I'm going to play first. It's going to be Super Mario RPG, but I'll definitely get into this as well. We'll do some streams. We'll test it out. I'll probably get the Switch and the PlayStation 5 versions of this game to see how it is, and we'll go from there. I'll give it a shot at least, because it's been a little bit since I've put any significant time into a Naruto fighting game. So what do you guys think about this when it comes to everything we talked about, the ridiculous rumors popping up all over the place, Persona 5 and Naruto? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch content, like my top 25 first-party RPGs of all time on the Nintendo Switch and more. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you for the next one. Peace.